Hey guys, it's Prince Rich with RTG Call Center Solutions, and in today's video, we're going to talk about Dialpad's new AI agent. So for those of you who watch this channel, you're no stranger to the fact that I'm always talking about the new agentic AI with many of the providers, its benefits, and how it can help call centers or help businesses with large teams or high, inbound, outbound calls, or that need just more advanced features to be able to streamline the volume and help their teams get through everything a little easier. When Dialpad reached out to me and said, hey, we've got a new AI agent that, is just hot off the press and we want you to do a video on it, I couldn't refuse to say, yes, let's do it. With me today, I have a special guest, Raf from Dialpad. Raf, first and foremost, thank you so much for being here, my man.
Thanks for having me, Prince. Appreciate it.
So before I let you take it away and you hop in and show the viewers, what this new AI agent is all about at Dialpad, can you tell the viewers a little bit about who you are and what you actually do at Dialpad, what your role is?
Sure. Well, I'm actually our senior partner sales engineer over here at Dialpad. A little bit about what I do is I get in front of partners, do enablement sessions. You'll typically see me at panels or the booths at the events, but I do have a heavy focus now on the agentic AI side now. So that's one of the things I'm really focused on doing now, and I really can't wait to show you guys what we have to offer. But I also want to give you like a little bit of a couple key stakes that I find in a normal agentic AI that we tend to see businesses leap forward to, and we can actually find out why there's a lot of failure in this space as well.
Okay, cool. I'm looking forward to it. So I say let's take it away. I'll follow your lead.
Awesome. So today we have two types. I will be showing the chat version and the voice version. The voice one, in my opinion, is going to be really exciting for people to see. What's really cool is that this is actually done underneath the same technology. So as long as you create one agent, it's both applicable to chat and voice, which is really unique. So now you don't need to separate the two anymore when you're doing these build outs. Another thing I find that's really interesting, it's we consider it a low code, no code solution. So that means that people don't need to know a lot of programming to actually get these up and running in case they ever need to do some edits to it, make some modifications. But Prince, I want to tell you just real quick here. I think agentic is the kind of like the next step of where we're heading in our future, not just for voice, but for everything else that we see in this world. And I always want to tell people that as much as we think AI can solve for everything, it could solve for a lot, but it's only going to be as good as what you give it. And the reason why a lot of people have AI projects fail is because they don't have good data structure. It's not organized. They have a lot of stuff that doesn't really correlate to them anymore. And when they tend to deploy these things, they're trying to solve too many problems at once. So in my opinion, focus on some things that make the most sense to be solved first. And it could be small table stakes. Start from small and then go from bigger and just see how your agent progresses that way. And then last but not least, in the agentic world, I always like to say the agent's only going to be as good as the instructions you give it. So, yeah. Prince, I'm sure you probably remember this in the past. Do you remember when you were going to school and someone had asked you, give me a set of instructions to make a peanut butter jelly sandwich?
Yeah. I know what you mean.
It's the same thing with this. If you are not literal enough, but not specific enough, the agent will also not understand just as well. And we think that this technology is going to be able to self-correct itself. And maybe in the future it might, but at least in this time, if it's not a good set of instructions, it's not going to perform well. So that's just one thing I just want to point out there. But I'm really excited to show you guys and hop right in.
All right, let's go.
So we'll start off with our chat side of things. So on the chat side of things, typically with traditional chatbots, everything is going to be if this, then that. So it's just like, hey, if this happens, then do this. But the agentic side, all these instructions can be written in a way of being able to say, hey, you can handle all this and you can actually do more. So with these agents, they can go above and beyond. And this is a demo website we have set up. We called this chatbot Flora Nightingale. As you can see, my session timed up, but we'll refresh this. But what's really cool is that this one is going to be the healthcare agent that we have set up.
Okay.
What I'm going to do is I already have an appointment scheduled, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to see if I can get it rescheduled through the bot, but also ask for additional, maybe if there's something else I can add on to that appointment to make my experience a little bit better, especially when I go for blood draws. So I'm going to go ahead and say, hello, I have an existing appointment for blood draws. Would love to reschedule it. So in old chatbot format, a lot of it would just be like assumptions and guessing. This is going to go based off of true facts that you give it, but also be able to learn upon what kind of set of instructions it was given, including any technical data. So if you give it any documents or anything that I can learn from, it will also go from there, which means the person can actually continue the conversation, even if it's slightly outside the scope, but it won't go to the point where it makes no sense to have that conversation. So as you can see, it's going to ask me like, hey, there's some basic information I need from you in order to look this up. So I'm going to say that I used my email. And what's cool is that even though it asked for all this, I can just go one by one. So of course, we all know that there's going to be different customer sets. That means that not everyone is going to follow the set of instructions to a T that the bot is trying to give them. So this is showing them that no matter what step they go in, they're still able to reach their journey. So here's my name. And then I got a basic labs panel. So what it's going to do now is it's going to ask for my new preferred time and date. And then what I'm going to say, and this is the cool part, I'm going to say this Sunday at 10 a.m. So I didn't give it an exact date. I just said this Sunday, which can mean a lot of things, but I'm saying this Sunday. And let's see actually how well it performs. Oh, it says, cool, we're closed on Sunday. So that actually gives me an alternative. Saturday, and that's a close date, right? 11 a.m. I'll actually choose Saturday. That's fine.
I like to, really quick, not to cut you off, I like to how you didn't type in the full word Saturday. You typed in sat is fine. I was going to ask you because, you know, I'm not typically like this because I'm 44. So I guess I wouldn't be classified as a boomer, but I'm what the millennials and some of the Gen Z guys would call the slightly older folks. I notice even like with my daughter and with the younger kids, they chat in like short speech. They don't speak in like full. And it's cool to see that you're kind of typing like that and it still is able to process that. That's kind of cool.
I'm on the same side as you though, Prince. I prefer to have full-blown conversations, but and we know like the future is everything, and now we understand that people just have lingo. They use lingo.
Exactly. Lingo. That's the word I was looking for.
And you're right. So we also need to be able to make the agent understand that that's a possibility that can happen, because depending on their consumer base, you know, unfortunately, as people get older, you know, we know the inevitable, but if they have a newer consumer base that comes in and they're much younger, we have to now understand that they're probably going to talk a lot differently.
The lingo. You got to understand their lingo. Or the AI has to understand the lingo. That's cool.
So what I'm going to ask it now can also add into this appointment. So what I'm going to actually say is give it my preferred time. And I actually spelled it wrong too. I'm going to actually ask if there's any suggestions that I can add into the appointment as well. So what it's going to do now is it's going to go ahead and confirm this. And then like you could even go as far as, and what's really cool is that these are not instructions that we gave it initially. So it actually learned trends over time that someone said, every time I get my blood drawn, I have to have it on my right arm or my left arm. And what it actually does is it learns from those examples over time. And if it gets it enough, it actually starts providing suggestions to people based off of what people have been giving it. So
you're saying somewhere on the back end of Dialpad, it's with that customer and I guess the integration, or whether it's the CRM or whatever that's tied into it that the customer has got that's using Dialpad's AI agent, it will actually learn specific nuances and things specific to that individual.
Exactly.
Okay.
And you could, of course, tell it to not learn from people, so it doesn't provide like additional suggestions and stuff. That's also a full-blown capability. But this is really insane to kind of see that it's learned over time. Like, hey, based off this person's profile and what we have, like maybe they didn't put they have a preference for an arm yet, but it's like, you know what? We get a lot of inquiries about people saying they have a specific arm.
Yeah.
Here's a suggestion that we can give you, or here's something that people tend to do. And they can be like, yeah, this is great for me. Or you know what? That actually doesn't work at all. And then as you can see, it's like with anything else you would like added or any questions, I could say, for example, what are some tips to provide before my appointment. And then as you can see, it tells me to like bring my ID, arrive 10 minutes early, or hydrate well, all that cool stuff. So, and then it even gives you the option, like, do you want to email, do you want to text, and all that stuff. And you can do that too. But what I'd like to show is what the actual invite looks like. So I'm going to switch screens here just real quick. There's a set of instructions. There's the lab types that we're trying to give. And then that's the calendar invite that was sent. Now, typically it does have a title. I think it's because I updated it. That's the reason why it doesn't show. But as you can see here, that data set was collected. It was able to use my Google Calendar to send out that invite. And then there we go. So that's just one example where the agentic is going. But a lot of people really want voice agents now. And in my opinion, I think they are great. But as we all know, that it's that plague, you can never get to a real person kind of thing. We want to change that experience because we also believe that even if you speak with a voice agent, if that voice agent can't resolve all your problems, I still think a live human's still going to be better than just saying, you know what, we can't help you. Sorry. We're going to make that easy to get that over. But I'm super excited to show you this, Prince. And this is something, I'll give you some small context on it. So, do you know, I feel like this is a big trend these days. Exotic car rental companies. People rent out Lamborghinis, you know, you name it.
Familiar with it.
So what I did was I created a voice agent as well that's solely focused on just exotic car rentals. Now, I also had to interact with my Google Calendar, but what's unique is I also gave it the skill set to negotiate pricing with people. So if someone disagrees with the price, but I know, you know what, hey, this is a possibility for another sell. I wanted to make that 100% possibility. So I now gave it negotiation tactics, but I did give it the set of instructions of saying, if the customer tries to go below the initial value of 30% of what it's worth, just transfer it to a live person. So there are guardrails. And that's one thing I want to talk about real quick is you need to put guardrails into these guys. Too many times have we run into experiences where customers were able to social engineer an AI agent to get more information than they should have. And it could have been information internally. Maybe it's just stuff that people shouldn't know or people shouldn't have access to. And it's happened countless times. So we've made a guardrail that allows people to input what they want to stop, but we also provide suggestions. So if we notice that there's a possibility of certain information being exposed, we actually tell the customer, hey, before this gets published, here's some suggestions that we can provide. And the customer can either choose to listen to them or they can actually ignore them, but that's on them because we already gave them the warning of what's a possibility of that could happen. So really cool, unique experience, but let's go ahead and give it a call. And what I'm also going to do too is I'm going to show you how it can be interrupted too.
Okay.
Welcome to Grant.
Can you hear the audio?
Yep.
Yes.
Loud and clear.
I can hear you clearly. How can I assist you today?
Perfect. Yeah, I'm actually just calling in because I'd like to get a car rental for tomorrow.
Great. I can help you with that. Could you tell me what type of car you're interested in and what time you'd like to pick?
I really love to get a 911 Turbo S.
Great choice. The Porsche 911 Turbo S is an incredible machine. When are you planning to pick it up and when would you return it?
Yeah, I'd love to pick it up tomorrow at 12 p.m. and then turn it in the next day at 12 p.m.
Understood. We'll set it for a 24-hour rental. Pick up tomorrow at noon and return the following day at the same time. Next, could you let me know the pickup and drop-off location for your rental?
Yeah, I'm actually located in Arizona today, so I'd like to pick it up at Phoenix Sky Harbor Airport for both pickup and drop-off.
Thanks for that detail. Now, I do need to confirm that you're at least 25 years old and have a valid driver's license.
Yes, I'm over 25 years old.
Thank you for confirming. Now, I just need your full name and contact email to proceed with the pricing details.
Yeah, my name is Raf Rivera, and the email is going to be raf.rivera@dialpad.com.
Got it. Thank you for providing your details. The next step is to go over the daily rental price for the Porsche 911 Turbo S. Let me check that for you right now. The average daily price for the Porsche 911 Turbo S is between $1,100 and $1,800. We start from the lower end, which is $1,100 per day. Does that price work for you, or would you like to?
That's too expensive.
I completely understand. Let's see if we can find a more suitable option for you. I'll start by offering a moderate discount on that daily price. How would you feel about $1,650 per day? Would that be more in line with your expectations?
Can we go lower than that?
Absolutely. Let's work on that. I can offer a first adjustment. How about we reduce the daily rental price by 10%, bringing it down to about $990 per day? Would that work for you?
Actually, a little bit lower if possible.
Understood. Let me give you a more substantial adjustment. We can offer a daily rental price of about $850. Does this new price fit your expectations?
I could do that. That works.
Excellent. Now I'll double check availability for the Porsche 911 Turbo S in our system. Let me verify that for your requested time. I've identified the correct calendar for booking. Now I'll check the availability of the Porsche 911 Turbo S for your requested time window. Pick up on December 6th at 12 p.m. and drop off on December 7th at 12 p.m., all in Arizona time. Great news. The Porsche 911 Turbo S is available for your requested time. Let's finalize your booking now. Your booking is confirmed. The Porsche 911 Turbo S is reserved for you, with pickup at Phoenix Sky Harbor Airport tomorrow at noon and drop off the following day at noon.
Awesome. Are there any specifications you can actually give me out the 911 Turbo S? This would be my first time driving it.
Certainly. The Porsche 911 Turbo S is known for its exceptional performance. It has a 3.8-liter twin-turbo flat-six engine, producing around 640 horsepower. It goes from 0 to 60.
Do you think I could do donuts in this?
The Porsche 911 Turbo S is incredibly capable, with all-wheel drive and advanced traction management. However, for safety and to avoid any damage or policy issues, it's best to drive responsibly. If you're interested in experiencing the performance...
Okay, thanks. I'm all set.
Goodbye, and enjoy your ride.
So that's completed, and then let's take a look at the calendar invite. Just so
I wanted to see what kind of data that spits out, like what happens on the back end.
Here's the 911 Turbo S. The daily rental price, reminder, bring me my driver's license, my pickup and drop-off location, and then also giving me a notice of insurance. So, yeah, Prince, this only took me 15 minutes to set up. The hardest part.
All of that hierarchical
putting in those
data.
guardrails. Yep.
Wow. Wow.
So, it's crazy. I'm super excited to see
that
where
is
this
incredible.
Is
I jokingly, when you were negotiating with the AI agent on price, I was scared. I was scared if you kept trying to go too low, she'd like offer you a Camry or something. I was scared that she'd be like, I'm sorry, we've got a Mercedes or something. So that's pretty cool.
That's where those guardrails come in, right, Brent? So, I told it that you can negotiate, but the moment they try to go below 30%, you just got to get into a live person, because maybe I don't want to lose that sale. And like you said, do a recommendation to where they're like, you know what? I'm here to get a 911 Turbo S, not a Camry.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's pretty cool.
So then, if I understand that correctly, when you say guardrails, because I'm thinking of just scenarios that we've run into in the office, like there's been times where a couple of scenarios, one of them's kind of extreme. I've had many customers that they call us up, they're looking for phone service. If this was, say, done through AI, they're asking for prices that don't exist. Like they're like, oh, I want Dialpad for this price. And I'm like, I'm sorry. Like, even if you have 50 seats or 100 seats, you're not getting it that cheap. And they're like, well, how can we do this and that? It sounds like that's something that would go kind of like it would need to go to a real human or something like that. Tell me a little bit more, because correct me if I'm wrong. It sounds like that concludes the demo for the voice side.
Yes.
So I have questions. When you say guardrails, can you elaborate a little more and just give me some examples of what those look like for like an everyday kind of company?
Yeah, so a guardrail would just be anything that you do not want the AI agent to present to a human being. So as an example, I said, do not ever give the customer our floor map for pricing. So I have a calculation that says if it's within 30%, allow it. But if it goes below 30%, you are not allowed to disclose any of that pricing. You cannot disclose any profit margin, all that stuff. And that's an example of a guardrail. And I want to use this time to talk about the horror stories that people forget about when they deploy these agents is they don't think about the guardrails. They think about, okay, maybe I'll put something simple like do not expose PII. Okay, that's cool. But then they forget about the internal communication factor. What about all those internal documents you uploaded? Do you really want to have someone have access to specific things like exact pricing, your profit profile, maybe even if there's a discounted thing that they shouldn't see, but they can get access to? That's happened too many times. And countless times have people social engineered it to get extremely low pricing. And guess what the app they do is they end up having to honor it because it showed that they had a conversation with the AI agent and they did it. So that is just one thing to think about on your AI journey, is to think about guardrails. What are things that I do not want to have access to for people and the public? Like, what should they not be able to touch? And those are the guardrails that you put in. And it does not have to be code. It just has to say, hey, do not expose this, do not show that. And it's as simple as that. And it actually learns from that. It's like, cool, I know better to not do that.
Gotcha. I got a question on that. And I guess this would be my final question before we wrap up. So assuming that, somebody, one of our viewers, or somebody that's not even one of our viewers that goes to you guys directly, looks at this, they know their business. They know exactly what they do and don't want to do, obviously, because they've been running their business. They know what their parameters and what their profit margins and what their sensitive data that they don't want out to the public looks like. Tell me a little bit more about if somebody adopts this. They do understand the power and what they're getting into with the AI agent, but they're not necessarily a technical person. They don't even know how they would set this up. Tell me how Dialpad would actually work with them upon like onboarding or implementation to make sure that, you guys meet with the technical expertise with the AI agent in the middle to meet their guidelines to make sure that it all, comes together as one full thing.
Yeah. So we actually that's a great question, Prince. We have a dedicated team that's specifically focused on agentic AI deployments. We would actually get them to consult with them so they can go through what they're trying to solve. And we actually might be able to find some things in between. We're like, hey, you said you could solve for this, but you can also solve for this in the same environment by doing X, Y, Z. We can actually provide a lot of suggestions. And after we deploy this, because it is a low code, no code, we will give the consumer training on how to make edits themselves. And we'll give them like really good guidelines. Like, hey, if you are going to make these edits, always keep these things in mind when you do this. And then last but not least, there is a suggestion engine. So in the event that they do try to make edits on their own, let's say they completely go against what we advise them, it will actually give them recommendations and notice if there are any pitfalls that can cause issues. It does actually pick up on that. So exposing specific information, it's like, hey, we can literally expose your PII data. Like, you're not putting in that guardrail. Please put this in. And then another thing could be you might expose some internal documentation on discount pricing. You should actually put a guardrail in for that. So there's a lot of recommendations that we give and guardrails that we put in first before the consumer can even publish the AI agent with any updates.
Gotcha. So it's a bit of also solution consulting as well, alongside like setting it up. Okay. Well, I guess to wrap this up, for anybody that's watching this video that, they run a call center or they've got a organization that's, maybe a large number of users, mid-sized to large number of users, or maybe even like multiple locations or even remote teams, and they're trying to figure out how to better streamline, the inbound, outbound call volume while not taking all of the human aspect out of things, but being able to utilize AI to make things smoother and streamline things for their teams and essentially make a better profit while offering a better solution. What would you want to say to them? Like, why Dialpad versus everybody else?
Sure. So a few things. I mean, when it comes down to it, if you do happen to use the agentic agents, we have a great platform that backs that. So all the way from our tech stack to owning the AI models themselves, and then even going as far as saying, if you do need to have like an all-in-one solution, so that even includes your phones and meetings, we're part of the same environment. So people can bundle that entirely, but also we will be giving the option to users to be able to actually use the agentic agent even on a different provider. And that's going to be more future-proof. It's not going to be out right away, but future-proof, that will be one of the things. So if they do have maybe a contract they can't get out of currently, but they still want to use the power of this AI, they absolutely can.
Well, man, I really appreciate the time. I learned something today. And for you guys, showing me this brand new AI agent that Dialpad's got. So thank you so much for being here and just for the time and energy.
Yeah, thanks for allowing me here, Prince. It was a pleasure meeting you as well.
Yeah, man, you too. Hopefully we can do this again. And
yeah, I would love to.
Those of you who've watched this channel, you're no stranger to the fact that we've done multiple Dialpad demos on other things like their Salesforce integration, their HubSpot integration, the general overview of Dialpad. There's so much more under the hood that can be shown, not just with the AI agent that we showed you today, but just with their whole solution at Dialpad. So if you're watching this and you've got a phone system or a current call center or contact solution that just isn't cutting it, I would highly recommend you look at Dialpad. And if you're interested in that, you can always contact me directly via the information below this video. I'll connect you up with our direct contacts over at Dialpad that will not only show you whatever you want to see based on your business needs and a custom tailored solution. You'll also get special pricing for going through Rich Technology Group. But as always, this is Prince Rich with RTG Call Center Solutions, your go-to guy for the best deals on contact center in the US. I'll catch you again in the next video.